Welcome to Millennium Milestone Presents, a site dedicated to storytelling in books, movies, video games, and other exciting genres where bold cuts have no business being a fashion statement. Well, Superman has finally arrived here. Or should I say James Gunn's Superman, or Superman's James Gunn, or Super Gunman? Hard to say, but what I do know is that the movie has arrived and it's time to finally review this and see for what it's worth. And please, if you take a moment to please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We're still trying to grow this channel to a few more couple of goers here. So if you have a moment, please do so. And I also want to mention, going into this review, I'm fully aware of the left and right side and all over the place divide everyone has regarding Superman. A lot of Henry Cavill fans not happy with this version, and a lot of traditional fans of Superman are also not happy. So it's going to be interesting to see how this movie stacks up to both sides of the equation. The movie kicks off just as we saw in the teaser trailer, but before that, we get a sort of intro through word captions that give off a countdown of sorts in 3 months ago, 3 days ago, 3 minutes ago. Metahumans dominate the Earth, and some have begun to seek power for themselves to rule over it. Then came an alien from the stars above, a defender for Earth who tries his best to keep the world safe. Superman. We find out he is battling the Hammer Bravia, a fictional country with a thirst for power over the world. Superman does what he does best, but in this outing, he's beaten? This sets up some serious questions, but before we find out anything, the Hammer guy just gives a warning and takes off and leaves. We find out that the country of Bravia is in cahoots with Lex Luthor, who has nothing but vile hate for Superman and wants to eliminate him off the planet. During the battle with the Hammer of Bravia and Superman, Lex has one of his henchmen, Engineer, tracking his Superman to find his home base. This later leads to a plan for Lex to infiltrate the Fortress of Solitude to uncover evidence that would discredit Kal-El to the world and give him the means to have full authority to wipe out Superman. That evidence turns out to be something that even Lex didn't see coming. A previously half-retrieved recording of Kal-El's parents that reveals, once translated from Kryptonian, that it was his destiny to rule over Earth rather than save them. A revelation that not even Superman knew about. This forwards the plot as the U.S. Defense Department and the rest of the world are calling for the immediate arrest of Superman. Can Clark find a way to prove he had nothing to do with this and earn back the trust of the people of Earth? So that's the premise of the film. I'll avoid any major spoilers as I do want you to make up your own mind and see this movie is worth your time. My initial impressions of the movie are that it has a comic book feel to it. You're being thrown into the thrust of the world and picking up the pieces as you go, which is something I enjoyed when reading comics as a kid. I did not start up picking up a #1 issue of a comic. I just came across back issues, eventually catching up as I read through them. Then I was initially hooked. So in a way, I see what Gunn is aiming for on the surface, and I am slightly for it. He's basically setting this up for kids and teenagers to enjoy and build off of that audience, which I do understand. It's sort of a similar approach that a wrestling promotion called WWE or WWF did in the early 2000s with a Superman-like character known as John Cena. Just a quick point about it, WWE was trying to gain a wider audience, so it went from a violent adult content wrestling show to going to what people hated to call at the time a PG era. John Cena was the poster boy for this era, and his character was dramatically changed to a more cartoonish superhero on television. So this is what they were doing with Superman, going away from the serious tonal approach of Man of Steel to this. I don't agree with the idea, but I understand the approach. If you want to make a movie that is different from something previously made, then this would be a way to go. While I do miss Henry Cavill's approach to Superman, I do enjoy David Corenswet's performance. On one condition, however, that you would stop undercutting his performances, which is my biggest gripe. What I mean by that is that while we get moments of Superman being Superman, Gunn chooses to clutter his scenes with an ensemble cast of characters that are cool, but don't have a huge impact on his overall story. Lois played another character in the story, played by Rachel Brosnahan, is fantastic, and the scene that many were questioning with her interviewing Superman was a fair and even dialogue between the two about Superman's right to intervene in foreign affairs. She's smart and sassy, very intelligent, and not someone who overshadows Superman. However, the bloated cast for the Daily Planet, the Justice Gang sort of take away key moments that should breathe on its own. Speaking of things that should be allowed to breathe, crypto. Yes, if you want to call me a dog hater, be my guest. I don't care. I'm going to call this out. The dog is absolutely annoying as hell. In a previous recording, I did say he was cute, at least in the teaser trailer, but by God, this did not do it for me. I didn't mind him for the first bits of the film, but it seemed as we got further along in the other half, he would enter into scenes that undercut emotional scenes that needed to breathe just a bit longer. There's even a scene where Lex is giving a good monologue reminiscent of Loki screaming at the Hulk in Avengers, and they do a copy paste of that scene in this movie. There needed to be fewer scenes of the dog, or at least give us reasons to care for this mutt. Now going to Lex, who's played by Nicholas Hoult, he was phenomenal. He was evil, obsessive, and that's more than what you need for Lex Luthor. He had a good ensemble of villains around him that helped him with his schemes, and that added to his influence and reach in the movie. He gave a stellar performance as a maniacal thinker with mad aspirations. As for the film itself, it is very jarring and hits you from everywhere with quick scenes from one plot to the next. You might want to see this a second time to make sure you didn't miss anything the first time. Chris Gore from Film Threat described the movie as like flipping through the pages of a comic book, which I find to be pretty much accurate. The story is good on the surface, and it does get resolved in this movie. It's the execution of the plots that I do question. The amount of screen time for other characters was unnecessary. While I enjoyed Mr. Terrific in this film, and even Guy Gardner, I felt frustrated that Superman was just not getting his time to shine in the film. We get a few moments here and there, but he's not allowed to be heroic. They seem to want to make him flawed and vulnerable to get the audience to feel for him, but this is where you draw the line between that and adding some stoic character to him. There's nothing wrong with having a character with flaws, but don't do it at the point of nerfing his importance in the overall DC universe. That being said, I did walk away at least enjoying the film and wishing it further success. It still has issues that will divide fans overall, but I will say that I'd rather be arguing with fans over this than the woke slop we got in other superhero films, either from DC or Marvel. It's actually refreshing to be arguing canon and interpretations of Superman for a change. Overall, I would give this movie a rating of decent, just above mid. I hope in sequels this gets better and Warner Bros. Learns from the mistakes in this film and get it to a better place. We'll have to wait and see where this goes. If you had a chance to see Superman, what do you think? Did it blow your mind or did it stink for you? Give me your thoughts in the comments. Just as always, you know the outro. You best better believe I'll be back.